Mailli, Maillet, or whatever it is, a French name. And he's the one who alighted upon that and made her comfortable. And my brother-in-law, I have to tell you, is a top cardiologist in America. And I checked with him what happened in terms of the injuries. And he said, once they moved her, because she had a pulmonary vein torn, as long as she was crouched or sitting up, she would not have bled out. Once they moved her to make her prone, more comfortable, which is what they did when they moved her out of the car, that's when she started to bleed out. And that's what, the whole thing was a tragic accident. But she said, my God, what's happened? I mean, she was stunned, but she was conscious at first.
How long did she last after she was moved?
Well, she started to bleed out as soon as because what they did, once they got her out of the car, they put her on a sort of lilo thingy. And what people don't realize as well, and they say, oh, it took so long to get her to the hospital. The SAMU in France, they are effectively vehicles that are moving intensive care units. So, I mean, and every time her heart rate and her blood pressure, they'd stop to stabilize her, then move on. And but she was getting proper medical attention. But once she was moved, she had bled out enough that even if she survived, she'd have been a vegetable. So the fact of the matter is, it's merciful that she died. But as long as she wasn't moved, she was, it's like if I plunge a knife into you and that knife stays in, you have a chance. If I pull it out, the likelihood is you're going to die.
Another lesson.
Yeah. So.
Good grief. What an absolutely fascinating, detailed inside account. I had no idea about a lot of that. And I'm sure the people watching this are going to be blown away by your level of knowledge. Moving on from Princess Di then, what do you think about the name Lilibet coming back up now in the news?
Geez. An abomination. I mean, only an arriviste from California who thinks that everything can be solved with a trip to the beach and avocado could have thought that it was anything but a total insult and abomination. And I was the first person, may I say, to say that the Queen had not agreed. I said it before the BBC made the announcement. I hate to have to blow my own horn, but what the heck? Because she did not give them permission. She never gave them permission. And the BBC confirmed it. She never gave them permission. It's yet another ploy on the part of Meghan with that poodle faker who wags his tail every time she says, jump! No! Yes! Oh, H, you're so wonderful. Come, let me give you a kiss. I mean, we are witnessing the most unsavory and pathetic exhibition where those two are concerned. And I'm awfully sorry. I think she has done it because A, she's a fame junkie and she knew it was going to grab headlines. And B, she's, as her previous business manager, Gina Nelthorpe Count, said she's primarily a businesswoman. It's all about money. And she knows down the line she might be able to make money out of it. But there's another element to it that I have spoken to people about, and we are in absolute agreement about this element to it. You see, Meghan is extremely self-important. She rarely thinks that she is more important than the Queen. And she struggles with the fact that people haven't got that under their belt yet.
Hello, Mickey.
So,
hey, you're joining us. Do you want to come up here?
You might have to help her up.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Further down.
Come on.
Ah, yes.
There we go. Oh, kisses. You want kisses?
Oh my goodness. Mickey, you can't marry him. He's not a Cavalier King Charles Tricolor. So resume while Mickey kisses you. Shall I talk?
Yes, keep going, please.
If you remember when they left and they were told they couldn't use the word royal, and she's knocking out and she said, well, so who does this old woman think she is? She doesn't own the word royal. I mean, that was the message that she gave loud and clear to those who didn't get it. And can you just imagine, for the rest of her life, she's going to be able to speak about a woman who she has denigrated repeatedly, publicly and privately. Since she's not allowed to call the Queen Lilibet, not even Aunt Lilibet, which, say, the King of Spain does. From here on in, what's she going to be able to do? She's going to be able to say, Lilibet, get your backside here, you ghastly little thing. Who do you think you are? You know, you're just, who do you think you are? Remember your place. So she's going to actually be able to physically articulate what she has been metaphorically articulating to the person after whom the child is named. And whoever heard in any event of calling a child by a nickname? It is a study in vulgarity and tastelessness.
Are there consequences then for plagiarising the name? Will there be consequences?
There are no consequences, are there, really, beyond the fact that they have yet again exposed themselves to be so tasteless. And they have also shown their family and the establishment and anybody who doesn't like them that they have no boundaries and they have no respect for anybody. And they have stolen the Queen's private nickname, and they have sullied it by naming, and they're not even going to call the child Lilibet. They're going to call her Lily. Had it been naming the child after the Queen, the name would have been Elizabeth. And Harry claims he told his grandmother that he was going to name the child. They were thinking of naming the child after her. Well, believe me, in a month of Sundays, if you think that he said to the Queen, oh, Granny, we're going to name the child Lilibet after you. If you believe that, you believe that the earth is flat and Meghan Markle is a wonderful human being and Harry is a genius.
Do you think that Oprah monetized the royal story?
Of course Oprah monetized the royal story. Oprah is in the business of making money. She's a businesswoman. Yeah, if you want to come up, you can come up. Come on. Okay, yes. Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Vicky says she knows her place in the scheme of things, and it is on top of Motty's lap. Yes, I think Oprah did. I think without a doubt she monetized it. I think she actually made a mistake because it has affected her reputation.
In what way?
Well, she has been accused of giving them a free ride. of not asking any of the tough questions. Like, how can you say 2 and 2 is 22 when everybody believes it's 4? You know? And how can you, Harry, be saying that this very traumatic conversation took place once before the marriage, and Meghan is saying it took place several times while she was pregnant with Archie? Now, which one is it? Because it can't be both. You see? I mean, that's just one of the obvious questions that could have been asked. There are loads of other obvious questions. I mean, there are 17 identifiable mistruths or misremembrances that are enumerated in the interview, and that's just for starters.
And which led to lots of speculation as to a racist person being in the royal family. And I know you did a video on that. You detailed a lot of things, but perhaps my viewers haven't seen that. Could you expand on what your perspective is then about that theories there was a racist person in the royal family?
It is a total lie for Harry and Meghan to be making out that any member of the royal family was racist in the way they made it out in Oprah's interview. The family has denied it publicly and privately. Yes, baby girl. Yes. And it's, Meghan has an agenda. She wants to be the most famous woman on earth. I mean, it's in my book, Meghan and Harry, the real story. I was told what her objectives were: to be the most famous woman on earth, to be a billionairess, and hopefully to end up being president of the United States of America. Well, I mean, why doesn't she just decide that? Well, I mean, I think she's too modest. I mean, she should become goddess of the universe.
Don't you think she's halfway there to her goals?
Well,
everybody's been talking about her.
Well, she's halfway there to being the most talked about, but that's not the same as being the most famous. She has gone from being one of the most respected and liked members of the royal family to the most reviled member of the royal family. She has gone from being somewhat famous to really infamous. The two words have a totally different meaning. Maybe to her, it doesn't matter. Maybe to her, any attention is better than no attention at all. But the fact of the matter is, she is infamous, but she has achieved her objective to the extent that she has turned herself into one of the most talked about individuals on earth. So that is a success. Insofar as approaching billionaire status is concerned, it hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen unless she marries one. All these figures that are being bandied about. I have friends in Hollywood who are Hollywood royalty, and they know what's going on. And let me tell you something. There is absolutely no way that 70 million, 130 million, 80 million, 50 million, all these figures that her PR people are banding around to sort of raise their stature and raise their price. It's all PR. It's all rubbish. I think they're lucky if they've got 10 million. And of course, they have to pay tax on some of it. I mean, she's very astute, Meghan, financially astute. And he has good financial advice as well. So they will, and they will have found ways of working the charity system in America, which is basically a big racket. for rich people to keep a hold of their money, present themselves as philanthropists while giving 5% to a just and a good cause and 95% to themselves for expenses.
Oh, that's how that works.
Yes, that's how it works. Yeah.
Right.
So because these charities have to be run, and so everything is written off, everything, every expense, everything. And so, but for them, so she's not going to be a billionaire unless she marries one. And who knows, she and Bill Gates seem to have a lot in common.
You talked about, I think it was Princess Anne giving some cautionary advice about Meghan and their relationship. Could you expand on that, please?
Yes, Princess Anne was but one of the sensible members of the family, because Catherine also saw Meghan coming from the word go. But Princess Anne is the one, I am told, who made it absolutely clear that Harry would be making a big mistake if he married Meghan, thinking that she was going to fit in, because she was not going to fit in. That she, on the contrary, that there would be trouble down the line. But she wasn't the only one, because, Meghan is as transparent as glass, and you have to be really dumb or naive after seeing her in operation for any length of time to not get the message. And they are used to adventuresses. They're used to adventurers. They're used to opportunists. They're used to merchants of fecal matter. And they see it coming a mile off, as do I and anybody else who's sophisticated. If you've been around the block a few times, the Meghans of this world, they come in and you might be, I was duped by her at first because, of course, I had no real interest in her. And I just sort of swallowed what I was being fed. And it was only after the marriage that I began to think, And then I began to be fed stuff, and I thought, oh, my goodness. And you realize that really trouble was brewing in a big way. But so Princess Anne spotted early on and was not in favor of the marriage because of Meghan's character and Meghan's disposition. Meghan is very abrasive, let me tell you as well. Meghan has no humility whatsoever. She will swan into a room with very well-established people, each of whom, let me do it in an analogous manner. Meghan will swan into a room filled with brain surgeons, and because she's had a briefing paper on the subject that's 2 paragraphs long, she swans into the room and she's says, no, that's rubbish. And no, there's another way. And I think, and I this, and I that, and I, like she's an I specialist. And she does that, and she does it with everybody. But people at first were deceived because they thought, oh, she's energetic and she's enthusiastic and, she talks a good line of talk. But it's the second and third and fourth visits. And that's with people she wants to impress. With those she doesn't want to impress, she doesn't even pretend. She's evidently a sour and a wet rag that's actually been stuffed underneath the dog's bowl for 6 weeks.
Were these concerns about her character that Anne expressed perhaps based on Meghan's relationship with her parents? I see her father popping up constantly, like offering an olive branch on the news and saying his sad story. What's your take on all that?
Well, my understanding is that one of the things that the royal family was very concerned about was, why is it that none of Meghan's family is being asked or is being involved. I mean, Thomas Markle, contrary to what you might think, never received an invitation. Thomas Markle, 2 days before the wedding, had still not a mourning suit. I mean, Thomas Markle clearly, from Meghan's point of view, was never intended to show up for this wedding. And what about her other relations? And I am advised that people within the family thought, well, hang on a second. I mean, you know, this is a wedding. It's a royal wedding. It's in front of the whole world. Where are her family? Why isn't she asking any family? And she's asking 2 or 3 friends, but the rest of them are Hollywood stars and who she doesn't know, or she might have met for the blink of an eyelid.